Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and Restless delivered drama and surprises to mark its 13,000th episode. And fans were pleased given that Abby and Devin's nuptials, albeit beautiful, would have been a tad sleepy all on their own. The first question from most Young and Restless viewers when Ian Ward and Aunt Jordan showed up at the end of Thursday's episode was, wait, how do they fit into all of this? The way they were introduced led us to believe that Jordan was behind the Sharon/Phyllis car crash, meaning they were gaslighting Sharon into thinking she was responsible. The next logical conclusion then was that they are also behind Sharon believing she killed Heather, suggesting that one of them actually finished Heather off when Sharon blacked out. The big question here is what their motivation would be. As far as I can deduce, the only one they could possibly have is if Ian is trying to get Mama Bear out of the way so he can get to Mariah and Aria. As we all know, he raised her in his cult, tried to marry her, etc. If this is the case, Ian and Jordan must also be responsible for Sharon's psychosis, meaning they've messed with her meds or something along those lines. It's quite the undertaking for two high-profile escaped felons, but we will 100% take it. On the other hand, Jordan could have been referring to something else when she told Ian it was done exactly as he requested. I saw one fan on social media speculating that they kidnapped Adam and that's why he wasn't at Abby's wedding. Ian and Jordan both love to target the Newmans. But that seems a stretch, particularly given Sharon spilled her guts and confessed to Nick in the next episode. Shout out to Joshua Morrow, who had me in stitches with some of the horrified expressions he was making as Sharon's confession poured out of her. Seriously though, from Sharon in the car talking to herself about not allowing Phyllis to foil her plan to the heart-wrenching scenes in the house as she buckled under the guilt, this was good stuff. Moving forward, Sharon will obviously be living a hellish nightmare until the truth, whatever it may be, comes out about Heather's death. Given she's admitting her guilt, not only for killing Heather, but also for framing Daniel for murdering his loved one, she's going to be ostracized from Genoa City society, and if the preview is anything to go by, will continue to be tortured over whether Phyllis will live or die. Worse, she's headed to either prison or Fairview. Will it be an orange jumpsuit or a beige tracksuit for Sharon? Drop your guesses in the comments. Jack and Diane's war being exposed as a ruse would have us believe that they'd put one over on Victor. However, as one can see from the outcome of the Chancellor Industries story, he always wins. Therefore, I'm waiting for the twist as he supposedly hands Glissade over to Diane. I might point out that this plot development is hella confusing. Did Victor just hire her as his CEO to replace Kyle? Or is he giving her the company now that it's served its purpose? Also, why would he consider this a victory given that it's led to Kyle and Jack making up? Make it make sense. As for Kyle, he's been an entitled brat, and the lengths Diane and Jack have gone to save him seem rather extreme. Why not leave him under Victor's thumb to learn his lesson? Will he see his parents' reasoning and be grateful? Stay tuned. Oh, am I the only one who was really disappointed by Jill deciding to cave to Victor? It was a bummer to see the mustache get his way when he was such a bully about it. It pinched extra because Billy and Lily had finally made amends and were back on track. But the worst part of all of this was everyone telling Lily she should be working at Winters when her heart is clearly with Chancellor and what she built there. Rude. The opinions expressed are my own. Please feel free to give your take on this week's Young and Restless in the comments section below. Soaks.com is a part of Penske Media Corporation. C 2024 Media, LLC. All rights reserved. Powered by WordPress.com VIP. The world of soap operas is a unique realm where the line between dramatic suspense and everyday reality often blurs. Characters that we thought had disappeared forever can return at any given moment, creating waves of intrigue and speculation among fans. In the case of EastEnders, two of the show's most iconic and complicated characters, Ian Beale and Sharon Watts, have once again found themselves at the heart of a storyline that's got fans buzzing. The questions on everyone's lips are simple but loaded. Why is Ian back, and is Sharon leaving? Ian Beale's return to EastEnders isn't just a plot point. It's a return to the very core of the show's legacy. For nearly 4 decades, Ian has been a part of Walford's fabric. He is the longest-serving character in the history of the show and has seen his fair share of highs and lows. Ian's return to the show raises more than just curiosity about his personal journey. It forces us to look back at his intricate history within the soap. Ian left Walford in 2020 after his ex-wife, Jane, confronted him over his misdeeds, after a string of manipulative and morally dubious decisions, especially his role in the attempted murder of his brother, Ben Mitchell, and his toxic marriage with Jane. Ian's exit seemed inevitable. But in soap operas, no one ever truly leaves for good, and Ian's return suggests that there are still unresolved storylines, emotions, and family dynamics that the show's writers want to explore. Ian is a character who thrives on conflict, and his comeback is likely to spark intense drama and upheaval. The short answer is simple. EastEnders loves a good twist. Ian's return has the potential to shake up several storylines, especially those involving his children, his strained relationships with the Mitchells, and his ongoing emotional baggage. Ian, for all his flaws, is a deeply human character, someone whose mistakes have caused pain, but whose vulnerability has allowed viewers to see him as more than just a villain. It's also important to consider the timing of Ian's return. The Beale family has always been at the heart of the show, with Ian often acting as a moral anchor, though admittedly not always a perfect one. His return could be a way for the writers to re-establish some of the emotional connections that the show is built upon. With Ian back, the writers can delve into the complex father-son dynamic with his children, Peter and Bobby. There is also potential for a new storyline where Ian grapples with his mistakes, especially in terms of his relationship with Sharon, his former love and co-conspirator in some of his more dubious actions. Ian Beale's return represents an opportunity to bring his character arc full circle, allowing for redemption or further descent into chaos. As always with soap operas, nothing is ever really over, and Ian's return could set the stage for his own journey of self-destruction or transformation. One thing is for certain, when Ian Beale is around, things are rarely quiet in Walford. If Ian's return has got fans asking questions, the question of Sharon Watts' future is just as intriguing. Sharon has been a central character in EastEnders since the very beginning. Like Ian, she is one of the show's most iconic figures. Her tumultuous relationships, particularly with the Beales and the Mitchells, have kept her firmly in the spotlight for years. Sharon is a character defined by both loyalty and betrayal, someone whose relationships often reflect the broader themes of love, loss, and survival. However, recent storylines have suggested that Sharon might be nearing the end of her journey in Walford. Her ongoing struggles with motherhood, relationships, and her emotional turmoil have put her at a crossroads. In recent years, Sharon has faced personal loss, including the death of her beloved son Dennis, which has left her emotionally scarred. Her increasingly erratic behavior and distancing from the Mitchell family have made it seem like her time in Walford may be drawing to a close. But why would Sharon leave now? Is it just a natural progression for a character who has lived through so much? Or something more behind the potential departure? The first consideration is that Sharon's departure could be tied to her relationship with Ian. Throughout the years, their connection has been a constant roller coaster. From their illicit affair to their shared history of betrayal and love, Sharon and Ian's relationship is one of the show's most fraught and intriguing dynamics. The idea that Sharon might leave after Ian's return makes sense if their past is revisited in a way that reignites old flames, but also resurfaces their deep-seated issues. Sharon's potential departure might also stem from the growing complexity of her family ties, with her complicated relationship with her son, the continuing fallout from her tragic past, and her strained connections with the Mitchell family. Sharon's future seems uncertain. She's been a fixture of Walford for so long that the idea of her leaving seems almost too big a change for the show to bear. However, soap operas are all about transformation, and Sharon's departure could mark the beginning of a new chapter for her. Whether that means leaving Walford, finding peace, or even returning to a different version of herself. Sharon's possible departure also connects to the overall direction that EastEnders might want to take. The show's long-running emphasis on family dynamics, secrets, and betrayals often means that the end of one character's arc allows room for others to flourish. Sharon leaving could be a way to shake things up, both for the show and for her character. Maybe she's reached the point where she has nothing left to give Walford, or where she's realized that the cycle of love and loss has taken its toll. It's possible that Sharon's departure is less about leaving and more about evolving beyond her current role in the show. One possible direction is that Sharon may need to leave Walford to find herself and reclaim control over her life. This would allow the show to create a fresh space for new characters, or existing ones, to fill the emotional gap Sharon leaves behind. Whether Sharon leaves for a new beginning or to escape the ghosts of her past, her exit would undoubtedly be one of the most emotional moments for fans. In the world of EastEnders, the question of why is Ian back and is Sharon leaving isn't just about these two characters in isolation. It's about the interplay of relationships, legacies, and unfinished stories. Ian's return offers the chance to revisit one of the show's most complicated characters, allowing for possible redemption, more chaos, or a mixture of both. Meanwhile, Sharon's potential departure is an emotional moment that marks the end of one era and perhaps the beginning of another for Walford. Both Ian and Sharon represent the very heart of EastEnders, the tangled, messy, and dramatic lives of people who can't seem to escape their past, no matter how much they try. Whether Sharon stays or leaves, and whether Ian can find peace or continue his chaotic journey, these two characters will remain synonymous with the show's pulse. Whatever happens, the questions of Ian's return and Sharon's potential departure remind us that in the world of EastEnders, nothing is ever truly as it seems.